Betrayal is painful enough when it comes from a stranger. But when it comes from your own family, it destroys you from the inside out. Imagine raising a daughter, protecting her, loving your wife, and believing your family was unshakable, only to learn the darkest truth possible. My wife didn't just betray me. She didn't just betray our marriage. She betrayed our daughter. She slept with our daughter's boyfriend, disappeared without explanation, and then returned carrying his child. This isn't just a story of infidelity. It's a story of devastation, humiliation, and the cruelest kind of betrayal a man can face. For most of my life, I thought I had what people would call the perfect family. My wife and I had been married for nearly 20 years. We had weathered hardships together, from financial struggles to personal losses, and I always believed that our bond grew stronger with each passing storm. Our daughter was the center of our lives. Our pride, our joy, the very reason we worked so hard. As she grew older, I watched with pride as she blossomed into a confident young woman. She eventually began dating a boy from her school. He was polite, well-mannered, and seemed to care for her deeply. I welcomed him into our home, invited him to family dinners, and treated him as though he were part of our family. I wanted my daughter to know what it felt like to be loved, respected, and cherished, not just by us, but by the people she chose to let into her life. My wife seemed equally fond of him. She complimented his maturity, said he had good manners, and often encouraged our daughter to bring him around. At the time, I thought nothing of it. Why would I? After all, my wife was the woman I trusted most in this world. Looking back, there were signs. She dressed differently when he came around, paid more attention to her appearance, and laughed at his jokes in a way that felt strange. But I told myself I was overthinking. She was just being kind, right? That's what I convinced myself. Because the alternative was unthinkable. For years, I thought my marriage was strong. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but betrayal? That was something I never believed possible. We were partners. We were parents. We were supposed to be unshakable. But betrayal has a way of hiding in plain sight, waiting until you're comfortable, until your guard is down, before striking where it hurts most. The first cracks began to show when my wife started becoming distant. She spent more time on her phone, stepped outside to take calls, and grew colder with me in ways I couldn't explain. I asked if something was wrong, and she always gave the same answer. She was stressed, tired, or just needed space. Then she disappeared. No warning, no explanation. One day she was home, the next she was gone. She left behind only a vague note, saying she needed time to clear her head. I was devastated, confused, and angry all at once. Our daughter was heartbroken, and I tried my best to hold everything together for her sake. Weeks turned into months, and we heard nothing. No calls, no letters, no messages. It was as though my wife had vanished into thin air. I began to wonder if she was ever coming back. And then, just as suddenly as she had left, she returned. But this time she wasn't the same. She came back carrying the weight of a secret she could no longer hide. She was pregnant. At first, I wanted to believe it was mine. That somehow, before she left, we had shared a moment that I had forgotten. And this was the result. But deep inside, I knew. The timeline didn't add up. The truth was written across her face. Eventually, the truth spilled out, and it shattered everything I thought I knew. She had been having an affair. Not just with anyone, but with our daughter's boyfriend. The very boy I had welcomed into our home. The boy I had trusted. The boy my daughter had loved. The day she confessed is burned into my memory. Her words came out in fragments, choked by tears. She admitted she had grown close to him, that she had let her feelings cross a line no wife or mother should ever cross. She confessed that she had slept with him, repeatedly, behind my back and behind our daughter's back. I felt sick. My stomach churned. My world spun. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. She hadn't just cheated on me. She had betrayed our daughter in the most unforgivable way. When I demanded to know about the baby, she broke down completely. The child she carried wasn't mine. It was his, our daughter's boyfriend's. My daughter's screams echoed through the house when she found out. She collapsed, sobbing uncontrollably, her heart breaking in a way no child should ever experience. She hadn't just lost a boyfriend. She had lost trust in her own mother. And I stood there, paralyzed, my chest heavy with grief and rage. My marriage was destroyed. My family was shattered. And the woman I once loved more than anything had turned into someone I could barely recognize. The weight of that betrayal nearly crushed me. Nights became endless battles with my own thoughts. Days became empty shadows of what they once were. My wife's choices had not only ruined us, they had poisoned the very foundation of our family. In the aftermath, there was nothing left to salvage. My wife had crossed a line that could never be forgiven, a betrayal that destroyed not just me, but our daughter as well. She eventually left for good, carrying the child that symbolized the deepest wound I had ever endured. Rebuilding was slow and agonizing. My daughter and I leaned on each other, broken but determined to survive. We sought therapy, trying to make sense of the chaos left in my wife's wake. Trust became fragile, love became cautious, but somehow, piece by piece, we began to heal. What I learned is this: betrayal doesn't just break hearts. It destroys entire families. It robs children of innocence, partners of faith, and homes of peace. My wife's choices will haunt us forever, but they will not define us. We are more than the scars left behind. And so I leave you with this question. If the person you trusted most could betray not only you but your own child, what would forgiveness even look like? Could you ever find it in yourself to forgive? Or are some betrayals simply too deep to heal?